Donald Trump, we got an update on his court case, the defamation case against E. Jean Carroll. Remember the woman who accused him of raping her in a department store changing room? Because that's where billionaires shop. You know, they spend a lot of time at Nordstrom Rack, right? So she accused Trump of raping her in a department store changing room. Donald Trump was found guilty of defamation. Well, not guilty, in civil court, ordered to pay $83 million to this woman. Now, he has appealed it, and there's going to be all kinds of legal fighting going. That money's never going to change hands. She'll never get this money. They're going to constantly go back and forth. But there's a lot of stuff going on here with this E. Jean Carroll situation. So, mind you, this woman, they could not convict him of rape in court because there was not evidence to do it. There was no evidence to do it. They couldn't convict him in court. So E. Jean Carroll tried to sue. They said there's nothing to sue for. No thanks. So after the case got stricken down, in May of 2022, the state of New York signed this act called the Adult Survivors Act, which gave her the right to sue him. Now, I know everyone likes to say that there's this big conspiracy against Trump, and for a while I was kind of on the fence about that. I was like, come on. But I think it's safe to say that if the third biggest state in the country changes a law just so someone can specifically sue you, there might actually be a conspiracy against you. I think that's a safe bet. So this is from Breitbart. These are some issues, some facts about E. Jean Carroll and her story. So Bergdorf Goodman is the store where this allegedly occurred. They have no surveillance of this. They have no surveillance video of this incident. We live in a world where everything is on video. They have no surveillance video of Trump entering a changing room with her, of him behaving inappropriately with her at any point at any time in one of their stores. There are zero witnesses to the alleged attack. Carroll first came forward with the allegations while promoting her book, What Do We Need Men For?, in 2019, which featured a list of the most hideous men in my life. So obviously there's a little bit of a history here with her not liking men so much. Carroll was unable to remember when the alleged attack even occurred. She told her lawyer in 2023, the question, the when, the date, has been something I've been constantly trying to pin down. She has jumped years, originally beginning with 1994, then moving to 95, and then 96. She cannot remember the season in which it occurred either. The Donna Karan blazer dress that she claims to have worn during the alleged incident was not even available at the time of her claims. So she claims she was wearing, so she can't remember what year it happened. Can't remember what, even if it was it cold outside? Was it 95 degrees? Were the leaves on the ground? Can't remember any of that, but she can remember the very specific type of blazer dress that she was wearing at the time of the attack. But there's a problem with it. The dress had not been made yet. That dress didn't exist. The one thing she can remember about this case had not been created yet. She never came forward with these allegations over the years, despite constantly being open about sexuality, posting things that were very sexual in nature on social media, many of which Trump has shared. They include remarks such as, how do you know your unwanted sexual advance is unwanted until you advance it? And sex tip I learned from my dog. When in heat, chase the male until he collapses with exhaustion, then jump him. I'm sorry. Trump is the rapist here? What? Oh, my Lord. She said she was never raped, telling the New York Times podcast, The Daily, every woman gets to choose her word. Every woman gets to choose how she describes it. This is my way of saying it. This is my word. My word is fight. My word is not the victim word. I have not been raped. She continued. Something has not been done to me. I fought. That's the thing. She named her cat Vagina. Her dog or her cat was named Vagina. The judge wouldn't allow them to put that in the case. Joe Tacopina, an attorney for Trump, pointed out in May of 2023 that Carroll's entire story has incredible similarities to a 2012 episode of Law & Order Special Victims Unit. In the episode, titled Theater and Tricks, an individual talks about a rape fantasy in Bergdorf Goodman, the same department store where she claims it took place. That's like Shameless. When Kevin was going to say he got raped by his basketball coach, and then he just recited the Michael Jackson victim testimony. Carroll was also a huge fan of The Apprentice. Said, I was a big fan of the show, very impressed by it. She'd never seen such a witty competition on TV, and it was something worthwhile competing. Carroll made a joke associating sex with Bergdorf Goodman in a November 1993 edition of Elle, which was before the alleged Trump attack took place. Carroll is financially backed by anti-Trump Democrat megadonor Reid Hoffman, who has openly admitted to visiting Jeffrey Epstein's private island. Democratic Party activists back her as well. The lawsuit was only able to proceed after Democrats created the Adult Survivors Act in 2022. She conveniently pursued the suit in November following the law going into effect, which allowed her to avoid the statute of limitations on this case. Carroll once said, most people think rape is sexy. I've never once thought rape was sexy. Not once. It gets a little bit deeper than this, though. I know. How could there possibly be any more holes in a story? What are you looking at right now?
A picture of her. I was curious to see what she looked
like. Oh, we got
like.
videos. Don't worry. We got videos of her. Go ahead and play the first one, E. Jean Carroll. This is her on Rachel. If there aren't enough holes in the story, here she was on Rachel Maddow talking about how she was going to spend the spoils of her victory. And, well, it didn't really go the way that I think her attorneys who were sitting next to her wanted it to. Go ahead.
You've talked about using some of Trump's money that you're about to get to help shore up women's rights. Do you know what that might be, what that might look like?
Yes, Rachel. Yes.
Tell me.
I had such great ideas for all the good I'm going to do with this money. First thing, Rachel, you and I are going to go shopping. We're going to get completely new wardrobes, new shoes, motorcycle for Crowley, new fishing rod for Robbie. Rachel, what do you want? Penthouse? It's yours,
Nothing.
Rachel. Penthouse and France? You want France? You want to go fishing in France? No? Oh, all right, okay.
That's a joke.
Look at her lawyer's face.
All right, okay.
They are not comfortable right now.
Although if me fishing in France could do something for women's rights, I would take the hit. You know, I would obviously.
I mean, doesn't she go? Doesn't she sound like just a traumatized rape victim? First, yeah, I mean, she's on TV joking and celebrating about how she's going to go shopping. You know, so what are you going to do for women's rights? Well, I'm going to buy a new motorcycle and a fishing pole, and I'm going to go shopping and get a penthouse in France. So what are you going to do for women's rights? Then I'm going to buy a white tiger. Okay, but how about women's rights? What do you think you're going to do? What are you going to do for women's rights? Cabo, baby. Women have the right to get lit on all you can drink margaritas in Cabo. Okay, but Gene, let's stay on task here. Women's rights. What are you going to do for women's rights? I'm going to buy a yacht next. And a giant fur coat. So she's totally this innocent rape victim. We have another video of her on Anderson Cooper. We played this one on the show. This is a throwback here. But this will speak more to exactly what type of person she is.
You don't feel like a victim?
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished. Which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt. It just, you know.
But I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
We're going to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
You're fascinating to talk to.
He's so uncomfortable. Also, she didn't get the memo that he's gay. Not only is he gay, he's come out like 3 times as gay publicly. Like, people forgot the first time. Like, just so you know, in case you forgot. Obviously she didn't see any of those times because she's trying to hit on him. Yeah, so she was able to sue Trump because through this Adult Survivors Act passed in May 2022. She was able to sue Trump, and this is where it gets even more insane. Even though they couldn't convict him in a court of law, she was able to sue Trump for defamation of character. That's what this is for. They're not saying that he raped her. They're saying that he defamed her. She was able to sue Trump for defamation of character because he said, she's a liar, I didn't rape her. So it's now defamation of character in the state of New York. The precedent's been set to say, I didn't assault somebody, I'm innocent. It's defamation of character to mount a defense in court and say you're innocent. So here's my question. Trump hasn't been convicted of anything in court. They can't convict him. There's no evidence to convict him. We've gone over that. Trump hasn't been convicted in court. If it's defamation for him to call her a liar for accusing him of rape, how is it not defamation for her to accuse him of rape without any type of evidence? That's I don't think that we should be able to sue people that are rape victims. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying the state of New York has set the precedent. He said, I'm innocent. She's a liar. He's guilty of defamation. She said he's a rapist. They can't prove that he's a rapist, but she's not. How does this work? Well, it gets a little bit deeper than this. I know there's even more holes in this story. It gets even. This is like out of a bad TV show. It's like out of an episode of Law and Order SVU. By the way, the writing has been horrible for close to a decade now. Ice-T, his back must hurt from carrying that show with his witty comments and one-liners. The 2.5 minutes he's on camera, he just owns it, right? It gets even worse. So the judge, Clinton appointee, by the way, not that that's important, the judge that oversaw this trial withheld from the jury, didn't recuse himself or herself, excuse me, nothing like that. Withheld this information from the court, withheld this information from Trump's attorneys. The judge went to school, to law school with E. Jean Carroll's lawyer. But it wasn't just like, hey, we had 2 classes together. She was her mentor that showed her around the campus and showed her the ropes to the legal system and the college there. So had a deep history with this lawyer. The whole thing's a joke. The whole thing, it's a kangaroo court. They're out to get this guy. I don't care what you think about Trump, what you think about women's rights, put all of that aside. This is the clearest case of a witch hunt that I have ever seen in my entire life. It is laughable. If you again, put politics aside, if you don't agree with Trump here, if you think he should have to pay this money, you are either so biased that you are incapable of reason and independent thought, or you're a full-blown retard. And there's no other options. It's one of those two. You might be both. They might commingle a little bit, you know? There's no way a rational person of sane mind with an IQ above room temperature, which is going to get lower if the globalists get their way, an IQ above room temperature can sit down, look at the facts of this case that we just laid out, watch those videos, and go, you know what? He defamed her. He should have to pay. I don't think he had to pay enough money. I think $83 million, he got off easy. Should have been a couple hundred. There's no way a rational person can sit there and come to that conclusion unless they are incredibly, I guess, no, you wouldn't be rational at that point, but just insanely biased. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you could actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.